Hello, Daily Drafters. Today is Wednesday, December 15th, and thanks for joining me for today's Daily Draft. So hopefully we can sit on a high end of this roller coaster we've been on here recently in this set. We've had a few trophies here in the last week or two, but plenty of duds as well, that's for sure. So, here we are in Pack 1, Pick 1. Necro Duality. I'm not exactly sure how good this is in the format. I've seen it on Battlefield one time, and honestly, Pack 1, Pick 1, I think this could be really, really good if you can build around it. There is a bleed dry as well, which is notable. This is probably the line where I'd consider something like Necro Duality, but this is such a high upside that I'm willing to take it this early and see if we can try to build around it. I almost wish there wasn't something like bleed dry in this pack, because it's giving me pause as to whether or not to take the duality. This isn't a card I packed 1 pick 1 so far in this format, but if black-blue is open, I think this can do some serious work. So I'm going to go ahead and take it because of the enormous upside that it has here. Alright, here in Pack 2, I think the best card is either Angelic Quartermaster or Traveling Minister. There is a Repository Scob and an Undying Malice in black or blue. So here's already the debate. Do we stick with the Scob, which is a zombie, or do we just take an objectively powerful, more powerful card than the Scob here in Quartermaster or even Traveling Minister? I think this card is so good that I'm willing to take a less powerful zombie over a more powerful Quartermaster here. Because if we take the Quartermaster, then our best card is still Necro Duality, except we have a Quartermaster to hedge our bets, and I'm not willing to hedge my bet just yet. Alright, so we've got Gargantua, which is also a zombie, Stitched Assistant, Repository Scob, Gluttonous Guest. I do like Gluttonous Guest, but again, because of Necro Duality, I'm going to go ahead and take the 3-drop here, which is also a zombie. And we're going to be looking for some Doom Dissenters, some Pestilent Skeletons, things like that to sacrifice to these Scobs, some Scob Wranglers, things like that. So, let's stay blue here, and immediately basically just get punished. I don't want any of these cards in a blue-black deck, so I'm just going to take the best card in the pack in Sigarda's Imprisonment. Hopefully this is just a weak pack, although pick 4 Imprisonment could be a sign, so this is the point where I'm willing to kind of get off of our first pick and see if we can read it out. Okay, this is a great sign here. So Skull Scob gets us kind of back on the blue-black plan. Tells me nobody in the first 4 picks is willing to kind of go in on blue-black, which means we can be that person here. Okay, so Gutter Skulker is not really a creature for the blue-black deck. Gluttonous Guest is fine because it kind of holds down the fort while we can do Necro Duality things. Gift of Fangs is also fine, I think. I think I'll take my first Gift of Fangs. We ran a deck a few days ago with 3 or 4 of them, and it wasn't great because, well, I think we ran up against vampires in like more than half of our matchups, which is not statistically likely, but I'm going to go ahead and shore up our first removal spell here in Gift of Fangs. So another late Imprisonment is interesting to note. There's also another Repository Scob and a Desperate Farmer, a Mind Leech Ghoul. I think Sigarda's Imprisonment is the best card in the pack here. We have 1, but I'm going to go ahead and take Scob. At the end of the day, if we have Necro Duality on the field, even if we don't exploit anything, it's 4 mana for 2 3/3s, which is still good enough, right? We see a great pickup in Undead Butler here. So this is also a zombie that can bring back some other zombies, and it's great exploit fodder. I'd love to get like 2 or 3 of these in this deck if I could, but we may not be so lucky, so I'm going to go ahead and slam Undead Butler here. And I think we're still looking to be blue-black because of this Necro duality. So, Scattered Thought's not a bad pickup. It's not a zombie or anything, but there's no zombies here for us. This is just a really good card draw spell. Can put creatures in our graveyard if we get a Blood Fountain or two. So we'll take the Scattered Thoughts here. The risk of tunneling in on here on Necro Duality, like we kind of are, is that blue-black is not among the best decks in the format, and we don't really want to be fighting over it with other people. So this is our third Scob. Unfortunately, we don't have any instants, or we have one instant, and that's it. Would love to pick up Parasitic Grasp, Bleed Dry, things like that as well. We're also looking for Doom Descenders and more sacrifice fodder, because right now we have 4 decent exploit creatures, but they're not really doing anything. We only have 1 good creature to exploit. So we need to get some of those cheap black, or even Lantern Bearers would be good things to exploit. So we're looking for Pestilent Skeletons, Lantern Bearers, Doom Dissenters, things like that. That's what really makes this deck tick here. Okay, not a bad pickup here, second to last pick. That's a good sign. Tells me blue-black exploit could be open. But let's hope we can get some of the pieces for it. Alright, so Savior of Ollenbach is a good white card. There is the Doom Descender. I would love to wheel that, but right now we have to take Hero's Downfall. But if we can wheel this Doom Descender, that's big game. I'd probably play a Skywarp Scob in a deck like this. It is a zombie after all. So we're definitely going to take Hero's Downfall. With 3 Repository Scobs, this is something we really, really need to shore up, is good removal here. So we'll take the removal spell and clock that Drake going around. Okay, so blue or black cards, really only Undying Malice and Retro Throng, and I think we'll take our first Retro Throng here and hope that more get opened for us. This is great sacrifice fodder, especially if we can get 3 or 4 of them. So I'd love to hopefully have more than just the 1 or even 2 opened at this table and have us be able to grab them. So again, so far we have 8 zombies for Necro Duality, which is great news. So here's the persistent specimen we were talking about, and it's either this or Rot-Tide Gargantua, Screaming Swarm. I think we have to make sure we get our first copy of persistent specimen here, because we can constantly return it to the battlefield and sack it to things like assistants and scobs and, you know, all the kind of things to sacrifice it. I think I'd play a Rot-Tide Gargantua in this deck. Hopefully it wheels. Screaming Swarm is fine, but I don't know if it really fits with this deck so much. And Evolving Wilds is a card that just helps you shore up that mana base. But we need our first copy of Specimen here. Alright, so Hive-Heart Shaman is probably the rare I've played against the most in this format, and it's really good. Unfortunately, it's not very good on the splash. Well, it's not awful on the splash, but when there's a card here like Diregraph Scavenger, another zombie, or even Chill of the Grave, there's a lot of good red-green here. Wolf Strike, Hive-Heart Shaman, Packsong Pup. But there's also some good black and even a good blue card that may wheel. I doubt it'll wheel, but there's a chance. We're going to go ahead and take the Scavenger here. Again, another Packsong Pup and things. That could be a really, really good deck going around. Let's take a look at our curve. I think we're going to take... I don't know if we'll play the guest. I mean, probably so. At the end of the day, it makes a blood token. It's a good blocker. And it'll help us get to necroduality things happening. Edgar's Awakening. There's a lot of good blue and black here. We already have our first copy of Scattered Thoughts. We have double Stitched Assistant, triple Scob already. I think I want Edgar's Awakening because end of the day, we can like sacrifice a Scob to itself to get this back, to reanimate itself and all this kind of things. We can do some fun things with Edgar's Awakening here. Jeez. A third pup. Okay. And a 7th pick. Bloodtide the Harvester. That looks like green-red was the deck for this seat here. But we'll see if we can piece something together. Go ahead and throw a Ragged Recluse on the board. And a Diver Scob pick 8. Wow. Okay. So unfortunately, there is a specimen in this pack as well, which I wouldn't mind playing another one. I wouldn't mind a copy of Chill of the Grave, but Diver Scob's so good. We haven't seen, this is pick 8, so we're waiting on pack 3 for more Wretched Throngs. Otherwise, this card basically is unplayable if there's only one of them in your deck. So we're going to take the Diver Scob here and then wheel the Sky... Oh, Doom Dissenter, sorry. We did wheel that Doom Dissenter, which is super important. We need the sacrifice fodder over... these, I mean, I'd play a Skywarp Scob happily, but we need some sacrifice fodder here. What are people in? We've seen red-green cards flying. We've seen all kinds of things flying around the table. Late black cards, so no blue and no white, maybe? I don't even know. So the Wilds did wheel. That helps. Put the Brine Comber there. None of these cards matter for us. Doesn't matter, and doubt it'll matter for us. So let's see, did that make it into our main deck? No, made it in the sideboard. Okay, good. All right, unfortunate to see a Hellkite here. We're too far away from being able to play that. I know we had a trophy draft earlier this week, or maybe end of last week, where Hellkite kind of led us to victory a ton, but with it being double red, I don't think there's a way for us to be able to splash that. So we're basically looking at Specimen, Monstrosity, and Courier Bat. We don't have a lot of life gain here. So we're going to take a second Specimen for all of our exploit creatures. Things like Repository Scob. So what do we have? We have 2 instants and 1 sorcery. So we have Hero's Downfall, Edgar's Awakening, and Scattered Thoughts. To get back with our 3 repository Scobs. So I do love Dorothea. Maybe that's something we could consider splashing off of a wild, and if we get another one. I don't know if that's worth it though. I think I'm just going to go ahead and take a 3rd specimen here. We need the exploit fodder. We currently have 10 zombies. There's no zombies in this pack for us. This Socialite and Geist don't really work with our plan very well. So I'm going to take a 3rd sacrifice fodder and get rewarded for being open in the open color here and take Cemetery Illuminator. So let's see. 3-mana 2/3 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, exile a card from a graveyard. You can look at the top card of your library anytime, and you can cast a spell from the top of your library as long as it shares a card type with the creature or with the card exiled. Obviously, really, really good card. We're going to go ahead and take that. Doubt we wheel Lunar Rejection, but that's probably the only other card in that pack I'd be willing to play. So there is a second Wilds here, but we're not looking to splash. There's a Siphon Essence, which I like. I don't think we need a 4th Skeleton. And neither of these cards are really fitting very well in our deck. So I'm going to go ahead and take the first copy of Siphon Essence. That's pretty good in this format here. Also something we can return with Repository Scobs. So here we can look at either Syncopate or Grizzly Ritual. I think because we have 1 counter spell, I'm going to take the Clunky Removal spell. We're looking to be a bit of a grindy deck here. So I'm going to go ahead and take Grizzly Ritual over the first Syncopate. Great to see an Undead Butler here as well. We'll go ahead and take that. I would love to have it, maybe even 2 copies of Chill of the Grave, and we've seen 3 or so, but we just had better cards in all the packs that we've seen them, unfortunately. So I think we'll take a second Siphon Essence here, and I'm not below playing a second copy. Ceremonial Knife, I think, is a good pickup for us. We can consider playing that. I don't know if either of those cards are going to make the cut. This doesn't really seem like a Courier Bat deck. So unfortunately we did not get there on Wretched Throngs, but we did pick up enough sacrifice fodder here with 6 creatures I'm willing to sacrifice, which is good. I think we'll take Wash Away. I don't know if I'll play that though. I'll have to take a look during deck build, and Syncopate did wheel anyway, so we can go ahead and consider playing that as well. So we're at 27 playables right now. It'll be an interesting deck build, that's for sure, but we'll go ahead and see what it's like when we get there. Okay, so we have 44 cards with 17 lands currently. We have 10 zombies. I don't think we can consider cutting any zombies here. Is there any creature we're willing to cut? Maybe a copy of Specimens, but let's look down here first. I think we can cut Gift of Fangs, to be honest. We kind of got there on Repository Scob creature or things to do. I don't so I usually do like knights in a deck, but I'm not sure this deck is really going to be looking to attack until we can really get Necro Duality going. I think that's going to be our biggest win con in this deck, with a ton of exploit value. So all the exploit value with Necro Duality on the field is going to be our way to win. So I don't think knife is what we want. We have 3 counterspells, 4 of them, and Wash Away I believe is the worst of them. And then we can probably cut a 3rd skeleton. I think 2 might be okay, because if we start to flood out, we can return 2, but it's going to be very hard to ever try to return 3 in the same turn. So that leaves us with 15 creatures, 10 of which are zombies. We also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits for 3 Repository Scobs. So that's pretty good. I think we can just go 8-8-1 on this. And see if this blue-black carries us to victory. Before we get into round 1 here, I would greatly appreciate it if you take a look at that subscribe button there in the top right and consider smashing it. It would greatly enhance the quality of the channel more subscribers we get, and I really hope that the content I'm creating is something that you and or others that you know appreciate. You know, I've really enjoyed this so far, and I'm really looking forward to making more content for y'all, and having more subscribers can only increase the chances of that being able to happen. So thanks so much for your consideration, and let's get in here to round 1. Not the greatest of hands, but at least we have Syncopate to hold up against their turn 3 play. That was a mistake. I meant to play the Swamp, so that they couldn't see that we got Syncopate. So let's see if they play around that here. They won't. So we'll just go ahead and use our mana here. And I think we have to drop a Stitched Assistant onto an empty board, unfortunately. We will decline. And I think we can just trade here. Yeah, now that they have 2, we'll just go ahead and trade. Next turn we can play Scavenger, exile one of them. And then the following turn we can trade here, and then we can bring it back with Edgar's Awakening. Okay, so they're just gonna kill it. So there's the Necro Duality here. They are... they're a bit out of gas. And I want to just get this going, because next turn we can Edgar's Awakening a Scavenger, exile our own assistant, get 2 of them, and kind of just go to town here. So let's hope they don't have main board enchantment removal. Yeah, let's make sure. So return to the battlefield. We'll return Scavenger. We will exile our assistant because we have no other way to get any creatures back. And then, because there are no more creatures left in the graveyard, we'll just exile that one. Wedding Security, okay. So I think here I'm just going to play Diver's Scob, and then I can exploit one of these to return their Wedding Security on top of their deck. We'll get 2 Scobs. We'll go ahead and exploit this one to return this. And then we'll decline on the second trigger here. Seems fine. Now we can play both of these. So, let's see. So we don't want to exile the land because this says as long you can cast a spell from the top as long as it shares a card type. So we need to exile something from here. Is it going to be instant or sorcery is the question. Well, we can actually cast Scattered Thoughts first and see if we can bin a creature, because that's the one that we really want to hit. So let's do Scattered Thoughts first. We will put... Definitely don't want the island in our hand. We can bin Doom Dissenter, because we don't want to be exiling Specimen from our yard, because we want to be able to bring it back. So let's put these 2 into our hand. Then we'll play Cemetery Illuminator and exile Doom Dissenter from the yard. And yeah, they just... too much value for them, I think. Well, that worked out pretty nicely, I think. Let's see if we can have draws like that going forward here. Alright, so we're first. We have 1 into 3 with Necroduality in hand, so I think we're definitely going to go ahead and keep this. So I think when we exploit here, we're going to be looking for a land so we can play Necro next turn. Awkward. Well, there's the land, so we don't need that anymore. So let's sacrifice the specimen. I don't know if we're going to have time, because next turn we're going Necroduality, and then we can just start going off a little bit. So I don't think we need that on the top here. Unless they leave up mana. If they leave up mana, we're not going to do this. So, okay, that's fine. Okay, so they did leave up mana. If they have Syncopate, that's so bad for us. Like, so bad. And I don't think we can afford to have this get countered. So let's just play a Stitched Assistant, see if they get Syncopate. Okay, they do have Syncopate. Thank goodness we played around it. So we'll see what they do. Well, they could have just had Chill of the Grave, I suppose. But if they're just going to pass here, we can't cast Necro into open mana. We just can't do it. So they pass again. Let's play Undead Butler. Alright, and we can plan on returning Specimen here. Hopefully they don't keep up mana this whole game, because I'd really like to get this Necroduality on the battlefield. And I just can't play it into Syncopate mana. Okay, sure. So they're going to get back a Rot-Tide Gargantua. So they can Syncopate for X equals 1, and even if we don't draw a card, even if we don't draw a land, we can play this and get through it, so that'll be fine. We will go ahead and play the land though. And I do have Syncopate in hand. And it does land. Yeah, I'm fine trading this off. So next turn we can Edgar's Awakening, returning Stitched Assistant, exploiting here, getting 2 of them. We can kind of do the whole thing here. Again, they only left up 1 mana, or 1 Syncopate mana, so we can still get away with casting Edgar's Awakening. Getting back Stitched Assistant. Go ahead and exploit the Specimen. Don't need another land. We can also exploit the Butler to get back Gluttonous Guest. Yeah, that seems fine. Yep. Don't need another land. And then we can trade this one off if they want. Oh, and that's just about how we lose it here. Well, Wow. Okay, well things were going well, and then they dropped a Dreadfeast Demon. I feel like every time I have this card, they have removal, and every time I do it, I don't have removal up. Okay, can this only trigger once per turn? No, it cannot. Maybe we can push through these demons here by just going for value. So, gosh, we don't really need to return anything, so let's just play 2 3/3s and 2 2/2s. And see if that can kind of do the trick. Alright, so game's gonna end in either this turn or next one, so see what happens here. Well, this was fun. So they're just gonna end up with 4 6/6 flyers at the end of this turn. If they don't attack, we might be able to just play another zombie. They do attack with one of them, so now we're just dead next turn. Because they have 2 demons. That's a good attack. We could play Spirit, but then if they have removal, we can do Spirit and hold up Downfall, which doesn't mean we're dead. At least there's that. Well, it will mean we're dead because we're gonna have nothing. They're gonna have nothing but 6/6s. So. Let's see, if we attack with everything, they have to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if we kill one of these now, they would take 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. But they almost assuredly have removal, don't they? Can we survive, though? So if we play Cemetery Illuminator and Downfall, we jump and then still die. So, yeah, we don't have another option here. So it's Hero's Downfall and attack with all. And hope that gets the job done. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. Yep. Alright, so let's try to remove one. They can syncopate for X equals 3. We know that's one of their cards. Syncopate plus Rot-Tide Gargantua. So now if we attack... 1, 2, 3, 4, 1... Yeah, so 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, let's cross our fingers, hope for the best. Go to damage. And we somehow got there. Wow. Oh boy. There's too many moments like that in this format. Although it, it does feel good when you kind of beat those rares when they come down, but that was the only line we could have taken, and we got there. So at least luck is on our side sometimes. Alright, we're first. We have 4 drop and 2 5 drops and a 6 drop. Oh, jeez. We can't even cast anything in our hand. I don't think we can keep this. I think this is better, but not by much. Go ahead and bottom a skeleton here. And hope we kind of draw out of it. See what Undead Butler can put in the graveyard for us. So we can return Illuminator if Butler dies. I don't think we need to try to trade with that. Okay. I'm fine trading with that, though. So I'd like to draw an island here. That would be great. And then we get a 3-for-1, basically. So we're just gonna die to flyers. Now we can't cast anything in our hand. Alright, well, looks like this game was over before it started. Well, at least it lets us cast Repository Scob here, sacking the Butler. We will take action and return the Illuminator and get both these cards in the hand, and no blocks. We can threaten a trade with the Geist. Or no attacks, I mean. Yeah, we tripped up a little bit on mana here. We mulliganed. They played nothing but flyers. You know, this deck is still really, really sweet. This might be one of my favorite decks we've had this format. So, okay. Yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and trade. And now we're dead next turn. Vinecomber, so they have 6 in the air. We can do this, exile Scob, and go to 7. Yeah, I guess that's what we have to do, but it's not like it's really letting us survive too much here. Flyers are good. And mulliganing is bad, turns out. This just in. Let's do that and take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's just 7. Okay, sure. Alright, let's hope we don't mulligan and trip up on mana. Because when we don't, this deck is pretty sweet. Don't do this. We just learned the hard way that doing that is bad. Okay, so another hand where we can't cast anything in our hand, but we're on the draw this time. Oh, this has the potential to be so bad, but we do have quite a few early drops to draw, and we just determined that mulliganing is very bad. So let's hope we can draw out of this one. Not a bad draw there. A swamp would be a great draw. We can go 2, 3, exploit to return it. That would be great. Not quite what I asked for. Now I'd prefer a Stitched Assistant into a swamp. That'd be even better. They've got the natural 3-color. There's the swamp. Okay. So we can, I think, execute that plan just fine. I don't even think they're going to want to attack with Fleeting Spirit. I mean, if they do, I'm probably blocking with the center and killing the trainee with Hero's Downfall. Trading with both. And if they're willing to discard a card to blink this, I think I'm fine with that. Sure, let's see if they do it. They do get that training trigger, okay. Pass to blockers. Do they want to try to save it? Okay, so they're just gonna discard a card here. Okay, that resolves. I'm willing to take 2 to see if they play something better post-combat to Hero's Downfall. If they don't, I'm just going to go ahead and kill this. But I'm willing to take 2 to find that out. Like that. So we'll go ahead, let that resolve, and then we'll kill it. And then next turn we will Scob, sacking this, getting that back. Oh, the value. So next turn we can do Diver Scob, sacking this zombie if it survives, returning one of their creatures. Okay, so now we can Diver Scob, sacking our Repository Scob. They have good attack there. We can't block. So let's just go ahead and do that before they decide to exile this. I think we're going to go ahead and reset this trainee now. Because they're stuck on lands and they can't really afford to put this on top. Yeah, they don't. Yeah, let's go ahead and trade. Uh-oh. I messed that one up. Oh wait, no, they have to pay a white to do the first. There's so many abilities on all these cards nowadays. So I need to pay a white to give this first strike. So another black wouldn't be a bad draw. We can hold up Siphon Essence and Hero's Downfall. We could play Guest and put in hold up Downfall and Essence. That would be really good. Torrens, that needs to die immediately. It's not mana efficient in the slightest, but Torrens needs to die. They can't give it first strike. I'll go ahead and get him with this because we're not winning this race. If we go 5, I guess we are winning that race. And we have more gas than them in hand. So, yeah, let's just get in here. Next turn we can Edgar's Awakening, play Scob, get back Hero's Downfall again. Now I'm less interested in that because they don't have any creatures. Kindly Ancestor, sure. We'll play Butler and Guest. Are they gonna chump? No way. Yeah, sure, that's fine. So we'll play Butler and Gluttonous Guest, and then we can start doing the thing next turn here. Sacking Butler, getting back. Doom Dissenter, yeah, this deck is so sweet. There's so many different things we can do with this. So many different lines, but they're all so much fun. They're gonna do the Butler? Okay, they are. Diver Scob. I mean, Skull Scob. Okay, let's play that. Don't need to explore. Oh, well. Full control. Ah, I messed that one up. We could have exploited Persistent Specimen. But it's alright, we can hold up Siphon Essence now. And if they don't cast anything, we can bring back Persistent Specimen, and the next turn we can do the whole Edgar's Awakening thing. Let's see if they play a creature worth countering. I don't really care about that. So we'll bring this back, and the next turn we're going to get all of the value here. Let's play Edgar's Awakening. We will return Repository Scob. We will exploit Persistent Specimen. We will get a 2/2. We will return Hero's Downfall. And profit. So they're going to chump here, take 3. Yeah, okay, sure. Okay, does this 4th mana open up something crazy for them? So at this point in the game, I think I'm willing to just hold up Downfall and Scattered Thoughts because assuming they don't resolve something insane here, which we can probably just Downfall that right now and then hold up Thoughts, and then they're kind of toast from there. Or hold up Essence, I mean. And or Syncopate. So let's just kill this, because they have to pay 2 to give it indestructible. And then we'll go to combat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. They could trade off for Scob. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Because they can't resolve anything next turn anyway, so. Now we have 4 lethal threats, and that should do it for this one here. Didn't even need Necro Duality in that one, did we? Yeah, not bad here. It's a little slow, but we have a lot of draws that can help us get out of this. Hopefully they don't have Flame Blessed Bolt. They do. Gosh dang it, why do they always have it? Erg. I'm gonna play Hungry Ridge Wolf, or even worse, a Runebound Wolf, and we don't have any more plays. So this could get out of hand if they continue to curve out. No 3-drop. 3-drop. Okay. We're just going to play a 3-2, decline, and now all of our creatures are just 3 mana 3-2s and 4 mana 3-3s, which is not good. Yeah, I'll trade. Okay. Another 4 mana 3-3. Yeah, we kind of drew our cards out of order this game. It happened quickly, didn't it? I feel like the 2 games we've lost have just been... Yeah, oh my gosh. Okay, I see. Stop it. Let's do this. We'll exile their wolf. And no attacks. They get another 1-1, we'll trade off because we can Awakening next turn if we really need to. Alright. We do need to get a little bit of a trigger here, but I think we're too far behind at this point, unfortunately. They just curved out hard on us, and we stumbled by playing overcosted creatures. So, yeah, they're just gonna flip it. We can play another overcosted creature. We can get back Edgar's Awakening and get back the other one next turn. Kind of makes us go infinite a little bit, but it doesn't do anything. We just keep sacrificing 4 mana 3/3, sacrifice a 3/3 to get this back and do the same thing next turn. Doesn't seem good. Yeah, I guess we just have to do this though. We're kind of dumping all of our zombies as well for Necroduality. I think if they attack with Werewolf, we have to block with Scavenger. It doesn't feel great, but it's something we gotta do. So they clearly have a combat trick here, but what are we gonna do about it? Okay, no combat trick. And nothing. And a Grisly Ritual. Okay, well, at least that's something. Let's get rid of this. And then they don't... I mean, they have good attacks, and the fact that they can push through 5 damage at the cost of throwing away a 2-2, which is probably good news for them. Are they just flooding out hard? Can we come back? Maybe? And they don't attack. Okay. Wouldn't mind drawing maybe an undead butler or another skeleton here so we can sacrifice it. Evolving Wild is not quite what I was looking for. Let's pitch that. Diver Scob, not quite it. But it is just a 5 mana 3/5 at this point, which does good work on this board, so let's drop it. Again, Necro Duality looking worse and worse as a draw because we've already played like 6 zombies. We only have like 4 left in the deck. Jeez. Okay, no attacks. Lightning Wolf doesn't have good attacks on this board. So if we play Island, we can cast both of these creatures. We could get back Edgar's Awakening if we sacrifice one of them, which I think is good, because then that means next turn we can get back Diagraph Scavenger, which is also good on this board. So let's play this one. Do not exploit. Then we'll play this one, and then we can exploit this so that we can get back Edgar's Awakening. And no attacks here. Flips back to Day, which can only be good if we're playing against a green-red deck. Now, to get rid of Diver Scob or play a Spiked Ripsaw, that would be bad. So there's the Spiked Ripsaw. They can give this first strike. Okay, so what if we triple block? We still can't kill it. Gosh, that was a good draw for them. So what we can do is chump with Scob. Next turn we return Scob, which basically it's 5 mana to no, we can discard. Oh gosh, this is going to be... Okay, we're going to go ahead and chump here. My plan is next turn we can discard Edgar's Awakening for 1 mana to return Scob to our hand. We can then play Repository Scob, returning Grisly Ritual, and to kill the Lightning Wolf. Which is a bit of a roundabout way. Okay, so can we do it all this turn? We can't kill the wolf this turn, but we can definitely discard Awakening, pay a black to return Repository Scob to the battlefield. Or to our hand, I mean. We draw land. Okay, so now we can do both of these. We can play the Butler. We can play Repository Scob, sacking the Butler to return Grisly Ritual. And then the Butler could return a Diagraph Scavenger. Okay. And no attacks, so I think we have to take 7 this turn. We don't have to, but I think I'd like to. Well, I wouldn't like to, but we will, so that we can get this Lightning Wolf off the battlefield here. They're going to sacrifice a forest, I don't care. It goes to night. We'll play Grisly Ritual, and we're just going to kill this now, hopefully. So they can put this on top of Blood Petal Celebrant, but we can still triple block and be alright. We can discard Specimen rather than play it for value. I think I'd like to do that. Do we have another Specimen? We do, so let's do that now in case we draw it. They'll make a blood token. We'll draw an island. We're going to keep that so we can get rid of it to the blood token. No blocks. No attacks, I mean. They're likely to equip Blood Petal Celebrant, I would think. So at this pace we are going to deck before them, so we will have to figure out how to deal that last bit of damage. And at this point, Necro Duality is not even the best of draws. I mean, I'd still take it, but... Okay, that happens. We'll get rid of this land. Another one. And another one. Yeah, I guess we're just playing Diagraph Scavenger. Let's exile this. And pass. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We only have 3 lands left. So I like those odds, technically. But we've kind of exhausted all of our value in this deck so far. Okay, so hopefully no combat trick. They were getting priority, which is not good. Yeah, hopefully no combat trick here. They're still getting priority, and there's the combat trick. Well, not quite. Yeah, yep, yeah, they get to survive. It's 2 for 1. We still don't get to kill it. That doesn't do much here, so we'll pass. Do they sacrifice a forest? Yeah, that makes sense. So we don't need to block. Though that might just mean we're dead next turn. We're just going to counter that because we can. And then we'll get rid of this. Butler, not the greatest of draws here. I might be willing to pitch it to the Gluttonous Guest blood token here. Let's do that. Gain a life. And there's that, but it might be too little too late, so... The stinking Blood Petal Celebrant is causing problems for us. They might just have lethal, honestly. I haven't done the math. Yeah, there's all the attacks. They're probably going to give it trample, so let's see. What if we did... If we did that, that, and that? We take 5? Okay, we wouldn't die. We can't take this 5? What if we did, we'd be taking 4 if we did that, then we block here, here, we would go to 0. What if we jumped with that, 8 that, and jumped here? We would take 5, 6. I mean, either way, none of this is looking to be good news for us. Yeah, we're taking 6. Sure. Looks like we drew our cards in a bit of an awkward order there, so yeah, and to end it we just kind of top decked the land, so got off to a bit of a slow start. They got off to a faster start, and then we kind of stabilized, but not really, so I feel like if we flipped our deck upside down and drew, it would have gone a lot better there. Okay, so 2, 3, 4. Not too bad. Would love to draw a butler or a skeleton here before turn 2. That's not a butler or a skeleton. Might have skeletons in it. Nope, don't even see a skeleton. Deck, you lied. Alright. Your go. Again, not a butler or a skeleton. Decline. So they still have nothing, so that's good news. I think I'm gonna go with Guest to start here. We could threaten a double block, but if they attack, I don't think I'll do it because a removal spell kind of blows us out there, so. Or something like Sure Strike. Well, Sure Strike wouldn't even do it. That's a little scary. I do not like to see that on turn 4. We can't block, so go ahead. Alright, so another land. We can pitch 1, play a Stitched Assistant, and then maybe sacrifice a Gluttonous Guest to try to find something to get out of this, because this is going to get real ugly real fast. So let's first attack with both here. We will pitch a Swamp. Draw a Siphon Essence. Play Stitched Assistance. Well, we could also just hold up Siphon Essence and they're going to end up with a 4-5 here, and the next turn they'll have a 3-6, which... man. Yeah, let's see if we can find something. Because at least we get a 2-2 by doing this as well. Cinco, I don't think that'll do it. Edgar's Awakening, not bad, but also not great. It's pretty good. So they're getting priority here. We could double block and try to trade, but if they have removal, we're in for a rude awakening. Another land. So we'll play that and play Edgar's Awakening, returning Gluttonous Guest. I mean, I don't like it, but sure. Okay, interesting they choose to kill that one. Yeah, I think we're just about to get run over here, you know. They're just going to keep distributing the counters everywhere. Yeah, we're basically dead here, so let's try to do this, get blown out by a removal spell, and then have nothing left, I guess. Yeah, pretty unlucky here. I feel like this deck was better than 3 and 3, but there's our 9th land in our top 15 cards. So we've drawn 6 non-lands. Do we even have an out here? What can we return? Edgar's Awakening. I don't even think we have an out. Let's just do this. We can sacrifice Skull Scab, still get a 2/2. No, we can't because it's already... There's the 2/2. We will discard a Swamp. We'll play this just because it doesn't really matter what we do. And pass it back, and then at this point they can just like overwhelm us with creatures. So darn, this deck was pretty fun, and then we just kind of get run over. We had all the value, and we ran up against some couple of green-red decks that curved out insanely well against us. So they're going to have a 5/6 Menace, a 5/5, a 3/6 Vigilance, a 3/2. They're all going to have Vigilance and Menace, and yeah, we're just dead. So let's see. We can trade here. We can jump here and take 8. Sounds perfect. Take 10, 9, I don't even know. Oh, look, another land. Whatever. I'm over this. Alright, well, you know what? This deck was sweet. I hope you enjoyed some of these games, at least some of the wins. The losses were pretty crappy, but still a sweet deck. Necroduality is good, turns out, especially if you can pack one, pick one, and build around it. We'll pretend like we ended up with 6 wins here, because I think that's about where we should have ended up. So, you know what? Nice 6-win deck. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end. That'll do it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow for your daily draft.